Alright, well, hello everyone, and as you can see, we are not at the same place we left last episode because I started recording this one and I noticed I had my microphone off, so that's really sad. We didn't lose much, so we just came down the stairs again and got the key from the music box, as we saw in Barbara's story. So, I mean, that's all I did. We're gonna go down. I was actually here just a couple of seconds ago when I noticed the microphone thing. I mean, stuff that happens.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
I wish I had a flashlight. Is there a light source?
I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
Probably not. What is this? Rich.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
What is this? This is...
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories,
okay.
I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
What is all of this stuff? A train? Walter.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
Yeah, you do.
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped.
Wait, was this guy actually living on
Whatever
Finch's
that
all
thing was, it was gone.
those years?
Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Wow.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
What is this? More secret rooms. This place is huge. More secret passages.
I know it's out there, somewhere.
I wonder where this
Whatever
one is
killed
taken.
Barbara. And Molly. And Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Damn.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Okay, that's a tragic death.
I'm sure my mom
But-
was trying to protect me.
I mean, I don't really have much to say. But fake window and oh. How can you live like this for 30 years? Cereal. There's this beans and whatnot. What is that? Grape jelly.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Wait, so this place actually changed because, yeah, I wonder what happened here. Maybe a landslide or something like that. Okay, let's go.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
Yeah, it's
Though
good
to be
know.
honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
It's good to know where you come from.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
We're back at the house. Is the way? Oh. Is it? Okay. Where am I supposed to go? Oh, maybe up there.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
Oh,
3
wow.
of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edith who designed the cemetery.
Wait. Okay. So each one of them has like an object that represented them or what they liked or what they used to do. It seems so. Because Sven has this what's the name of it? Saw, I believe. Barbara has this star. She was the star
I'm
of
sure
the
Odin's
family.
monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Damn. Didn't know that? Oh wait, what are you doing? How can you do that when you're pregnant? Girl, what are you doing? Okay, whatever. Seems like you know what you're doing. I won't mess with that.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
What is this? Oh, a hunter and a marine.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
What do I do first?
Instead of
Yes.
hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Ticket. Okay, I'm gonna go check that. I think it was leather. Envelope. Pictures. Oh wow.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are. Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Oh yeah,
Hey!
I'm feeling the same right now.
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph? We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map. Good eyes, Dawn. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Now keep yourself squared up, elbows down, like we practiced. Whenever you're ready. Great shot, Dawn! I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay? Sorry, Dawn. Just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
some-
normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Shit.
these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
And oh man, that's terrible. I'm not gonna lie, that one shook me. And this is the camera. I believe so. And oof. It's windy outside. Okay, let me check the family tree really quick. Okay, so Sam is our grandfather. One of the brothers of one of the 5 siblings. Okay, I think I kind of get it. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. Okay, what is this place? Ready to eat. Okay, more like pre-cooked food.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Okay, let me check out this really quick. Edie. Oh yeah, she's okay. Gregory. Okay, a lawsuit has been filed against you. You have 20 calendar days after this summon is served on you to file a written response to the attached complaint petition with the clerk of this court, located at Okay. Say why. Oh.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Oh.
I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
I believe that's pretty much what they say about babies. And like you lose that ability as you grow up. You forget about it. Okay.
Fight's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie.
Last time I saw Gregory, it's
Hello?
time to... Well,
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
okay.
I wonder what he saw.
I'm gonna catch them. One. Two, no. Two.
What his world was like.
Oh, that was.
He reminded me so
Thank
much
you.
of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was he saw.
This is funny. Am I supposed to do
Sure made
something
him
here?
happy.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I was wondering if I had to do something. Yeah, but yeah. I got that on accident though. You. What does it say? Okay. Is there anything else I have to do? Okay. Up.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy.
What is...
But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
Oh no.
I wish he could have told us
Oh
about the
no.
world he saw.
I can see where this is going. I don't like it. And
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory. About everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Okay. Goes down. Wait, what?
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet
Goes. This one has a different. Oh. Oh, that's cool. This.
my mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
I once tried to do.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Tried to do one of these ones. It didn't go well, but I wanted to go that wave. And I check out this one first.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea.
Yes.
Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Excuse me. Okay, I'm doing this wrong. Where else can I go? What does it say?
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Harsh.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
I have my suspicions. I went through the totem.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Okay. well, my suspicion was wrong, but it was not death anyway. What's this? Wait, how old were they when they were in this room? Because it seems like it is really small. Can I go up? No. This way? No. Maybe go down this way, but not up.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
What does it say? Don Finch. College application deadlines. Don Finch, June 1987. Oh, she went to India. Okay.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
Okay. That looks interesting. I believe we're going there next.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again.
A little bit of company. It's always good. Sometimes.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
I guess it depends of the person.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Home education. I believe. I'm not sure. But it looks like it. And I really love this place. It's so cozy. I wonder what it looks like during the day. I mean, with a warm light, and you get it. Multiplication tables. I can see everything here. Great job. This is Finch. Okay.
But it didn't last.
Homeschool. Yeah, I think that's the word for this scientific. That oh yeah. So something weird there. If the efforts. Oh, I wish I could read that. It's interesting. Laptop. Okay, so we are not so far back in time.
beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
What happened? Where am I going first? This way. So he's alive. What is this? I hope it's paint. Yeah, it's. I'm pretty sure it's paint. It is paint. Okay. This is a door. And it's sealed as well. This whole place has been sealed. I think pretty much every room I've been inside has the door sealed, and I've been having to find secret passages. Architecture. Like drawings. I'm not really sure. I was gonna say I wasn't sure how they call them in English. It's and now I forgot the word in Spanish, but it's like sketches. Bocetos. For those wondering. Where is Milton now? What does it say?
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh wait, he actually died.
I was 4 when
What?
Milton disappeared.
Okay, so he didn't die. Or okay, so what? Yeah. Maybe whoever is doing all of this is not accepting that he is probably dead.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Oh, what does that mean? Why not? Okay, so wow, we're pretty much the end. At least close to the end. I wonder how much
Mom
is
definitely
left.
blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself.
That is huge.
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
What am I doing up here? Yeah, I'm gonna go down. Sealed. Wait, what am I supposed to do here? Yeah, I can't go up. Okay, I didn't see that. My bad. Okay, went in. Do it. That's right. Should place like a support or something so that won't fall down.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Oh wait, no, I don't want to go back. What are you doing? Yeah, thank you. I love this room. Seriously. I wish I had something like that. Seriously, I truly love it. Okay, so which one's first?
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Like me. I love these lights. I'm just wondering why are they still on when clearly there's no one here. There hasn't been anyone here for years, probably.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
Dual screen setup. And didn't he die like at 2010? Wow, that's this is a really it's ahead of his time. Maybe. Also different from what I have right now.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Okay. Look weird for a second.
He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to... wander.
Okay. Didn't recognize.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. he'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Yoko.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play.
Okay.
He talked about starting a band.
Man, this guy has a huge
And he was always
imagination.
humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. And his
Fish.
chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Obviously.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering.
Okay. Was that in the
It
game?
became a
My
game
God.
for him.
Okay.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
No.
St. Louis.
Very
He
creative.
started drifting away from our reality.
Boy, that was a long time ago.
Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
Oh, wait, what?
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
What is she saying? I guess we'll never know.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
Handsome. Okay.
The queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her
electric sitar.
electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Getting a lot of fishes here.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
End of the shift.
He began to forget the world we know.
What are the start of the shift?
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
What are you doing, man?
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
His faceless companions.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. His queen waited, holding his crown.
So cool, man. Thank you, thank you.
There was only one thing left to do.
I'm gonna be the greatest leader you've ever had.
Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
can't read. Masters of the Game Design. Okay, so I'm gonna take a wild guess and say like he wanted to be a game designer. Obviously. I mean, look at this setup. It's pretty much like mine. And it's been like 10 years. Damn. Would I be a game designer? I don't know. I don't have the knowledge. Civil engineer, if you're wondering. So... I love this place. Okay. Let's go.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
What is that?
But I understand why we left.
Moving boxes. Oh yeah, I know. Okay, I see. It's like the foam or something similar with for a similar purpose. If
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
don't think actually she was alright. Sanjay. Prayer.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Okay, so before we go check this memory, which seems to be the last one, probably. I remember there was an attic in the house that I didn't check, and well, I guess it's too late now. I guess it's too late for that now. Wondering what was in there. Maybe I'll check it later in another video. Not mine, on YouTube. From someone else. What a journey.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance, or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Okay. Well, I believe this is the end, and thank you for those who will watch this video. These 3 episodes, pretty much, and pretty sure that if you're seeing this, it's because you wanted to see like a reaction to these stories, and well, I don't know if I have something to say right now. Maybe I have to process it a little, no. I really appreciate it. But I've just seen. And I don't know, I'm trying to be honest here. I really like this game, this story, and you can pretty much take that from me. It is sad, yeah, it is sad, but I believe you can take a lot from it. Okay, good job, Edith, Finch team. And oh, that's cool. Okay. What can I say? I mean, can I even tell you which one of these was the most interesting for me? Right now, I probably have to think about it a little bit. All of them were pretty much interesting. I wonder what happened to Edith. I guess it doesn't matter. Thank you for watching.